we as fight fans, first and foremost, want to see. And as long as it happens, it's fine with me. Sign me up.
Yeah. What do you make of the fight now, having seen Wilder's recent performance and Anthony Joshua's performance? How do you see it play now? How do you envision it?
Well, you know, it's actually interesting if you sort of like turn back the clock and you read like what was said a month and a half ago. You know, most people thought that Anthony Joshua would win that fight, and it's funny to see how quickly people's opinions change after one fight.
Yeah.
You look now and you read now through the blogs and opinions and so on, and most people now are picking Deontay Wilder to beat Anthony Joshua based on the performance Deontay put forward, which was absolutely spectacular, and based on the performance Anthony Joshua put forward against Joseph Parker. So I think it's a fascinating fight. I think it's a very close fight. I think it can go either way. If you ask me, I would think, because I know Deontay so well, having promoted his first fight after the Olympics, when he signed with Golden Boy. So I have to say I would pick Deontay Wilder by knockout.
And now, as a promoter, they asked Anthony Joshua, I want you to take on this as a promoter, they asked Anthony Joshua about possibly coming over to conquer the United States, obviously the mecca of boxing, and he kind of said, well, I mean, we've been waiting for our turn, they've had their turn, we're going to stay here, we're going to stay in the UK. He was very adamant about that, he insisted to stay in the UK. Eddie Hearn, obviously, he would like his fighter to come to the US. How do you take that as a promoter when your fighter says you'd rather stay at home? Obviously, you got a different opinion on it, but how do you work that out? How do you see that situation?
Well, you know, again, this is totally Anthony Joshua's choice. You know, I hope that he realizes that from a financial point of view, the financial rewards in the United States are substantially bigger than they are in the UK. Whether if it's, you know, you sell 90,000 tickets in the UK, which is great, which is fantastic, and you sell 20,000 tickets in Las Vegas, the 20,000 tickets produce a substantially bigger gate than the 90,000 do in the UK. You look at the pay-per-view price in the UK is 17 pounds, of which about 10 pounds, which is $15, goes to the promotion. Here in the United States, the pay-per-view price is like 80 bucks, and 40 bucks of that, $40 of that, $50 of that goes to the promotion. So just if you sell the same amount of homes, let's say 1 million homes, that's about the number Joshua sells in the UK. You have $15 million in revenues from the UK, and you have $50 million in revenues from the US. So you start adding these numbers up, you know, as long as somebody explained to Anthony Joshua the implications, the financial implications on doing the fight in the UK, then, you know, so be it.
It seems like you explained it to him pretty well, so when he sees it, I think he'll get the point. But my last question in regards to the subject, how do you feel about that point of view from them? Do you think they're adding too much, they're holding too much stock on that, on the numbers they're drawing back home? Obviously, they could be greater here. Are they just holding those numbers to a higher regard than the U.S. numbers? Or do you
no. I'm sure Eddie Hearn knows that the numbers are substantially bigger. You know, why did Ricky Hatton do all of his big fights here in Las Vegas? Because he realized that the financial rewards are substantially bigger. Look at Amir Khan as well. I mean, the fact is, if you know, Anthony Joshua, don't get me wrong, is a huge star, is a fantastic fighter, a great ambassador for the sport of boxing. But at the same time, you know, at one point, I feel you need to start conquering the rest of the world as well. And if you are going to go and do the biggest fight you can make, possibly the biggest fight you can make in the sport of boxing, I think you've got to take that as your bang moment, as your hey guys, I have arrived moment, and do that from Las Vegas, the fight capital of the world, where so many great fights have taken place, including so many great heavyweight fights have taken place. I mean, if I would promote the fight or would be involved in the promotion, I would definitely do it from Vegas, and I would probably do it as a celebration of the great heavyweight history, Las Vegas, had in the past, and invite to Las Vegas all these great former champions, heavyweight champions, and really make it a celebration of the sport and a celebration of the heavyweight division. And I think that with, let's say, Anthony Joshua would win the fight. Anthony Joshua winning the fight in Las Vegas in that kind of environment automatically now makes him a huge star here in the US as well. And that's the way you capture the US market. That's how I would explain it to Anthony Joshua.